Hi guys, welcome to the 9th episode of Score Couch, a podcast where we talk about technology, coding, low code, no code, backend, front end, user experience, everything that relates to digital. My name is Olaf, I'm one of the co-founders of Score Digital, and today with me is Kasia Ryniak, co-CEO of Upside Labs, a software house that has a lot to do with e-commerce. And today with me is Kasia Ryniak, co-CEO of Upside.
Great to be here, Olaf. Thank you very much for inviting me to your couch.
Is it comfy?
It is, very much.
Nice and comfortable. Okay, great to hear that. And today we've met to discuss some of your work, some of the things that you guys are doing, because if I'm correct, one of your specialties is e-commerce, right?
Yes, we are working with clients, helping them to navigate around digital commerce and all of the topics that are combined with it. So everything from logistics up to selling online, up to figuring what is there next to do in the space of e-commerce.
So sounds like a pretty extensive list of topics to cover.
It is, and it's constantly growing. So this is also a promising trend that is happening right now in the world.
Yeah, because from what I know nowadays, in the context of COVID and the pandemic and everything that is happening right now, e-commerce is booming, right?
Yes, and this is something that we've seen happening last year. This is something that we are seeing this year, and I think even from the perspective of the customer, this is something that we've experienced. And we are constantly experiencing when it comes to the rapid changes that are happening in how we shop, why we shop, and what we pay attention to when we shop.
And we shop more, right?
And we shop more, yes. And we can have another discussion whether it's good or not that we shop more.
Yeah, that's for sure. For sure, it's good for the economy.
It is, yes.
Especially in the context of everything that is not working and until recently was not working because of COVID. So for sure it helped to boost the economy. Okay, do you think that e-commerce right now, 2021, is different from e-commerce 2015 or 2020 even?
Definitely. So the biggest change is definitely in the volume of the sales that are going on online. So I would say more and more people are purchasing online, more and more people are conscious about making choices in an online world as well. But we are seeing also changes in technology that is supporting the entire processes that are happening that are very often not seen for the customer. So yes, e-commerce is changing, and I think that we can observe the change almost every single year.
Okay, so this change is happening, at least from my perspective, as someone that is, not so experienced as you are in this field, from different angles. So we have this one angle when I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that e-commerce is being democratized to an extent. So everyone right now can buy a subscription of a platform XYZ, and boom, you have your own online shop with cosmetics, furniture, or anything that you would like to sell. So that's, in my opinion, one thing. And another thing is that you have those big e-commerce shops like Amazon, like Zalando, and so on and so forth, where you have a lot more complex stuff, features, and things to do. Is that correct, or would you say that it's somehow different?
Yes, definitely the bar to enter the space is lowered because of SaaS platforms that are growing in popularity, because of open source frameworks that are very easy to set up even for the beginners operating in the space. But I would say to succeed, it's difficult. So it's very easy to come in, it's very hard to get successful. And you've mentioned Amazon, and I think it's a great example and a great benchmark of what we should pay attention to when it comes to e-commerce. And a lot of e-commerce founders, when they are asked about their greatest competitor, actually point at Amazon, because Amazon is selling everything and is providing the services almost in every single space. So it's very hard to compete with them.
Okay, so I can imagine, because I've heard a lot of stories about, you know, Amazon putting out of business smaller providers of certain goods or certain items because simply they could afford it, right? They were dumping the prices of certain items. I don't think I'm a good example of an average consumer of you know, or user of e-commerce, because I find Amazon complex to an extent that I don't find it useful. So I shop at Amazon because I love, you know, reading ebooks on my Kindle, and this is the place to go to buy them. So I do that, but I don't think I don't find Amazon user friendly. So for me, it's not something that is my number one, you know, e-commerce on my list. But I know that they are doing a lot of stuff like same-day delivery, right? Like this Prime service, or you know, integrating with Alexa, that is somehow in an avant-garde of what is happening on the market, right?
That's true, and I think it's very regionalized in the sense that when we have a country that Amazon operates for a few years right now, it seems that they've penetrated the market very deeply. For example, in Germany, we're spending part of my time, and where we are actually having a second branch of our company, Amazon is definitely a go-to platform for everyone. And once you're seeing the courier out in the street, the almost 99% of the packages they are carrying are from Amazon. So whenever there is a small item that you need to buy or something big, you go to Amazon and you purchase it there. And we are seeing the same in the US when the Amazon penetration is extremely big. So this is also putting the businesses who are entering the market, who operate on the market, in a position where they need to innovate, when they need to be different in order to compete with Amazon. And what is actually good for the companies who are standing on the other side to Amazon is the fact that they have got flexibility and they have got bigger opportunities to actually do something fun. And the biggest trend that we are observing when it comes to what the companies can use is direct to consumer sale. So for example, when you're buying a product on Amazon, you are not purchasing a certain brand, but rather, you know, you're just typing, I want batteries, and you're just selecting what is there, the price is right, and you just get it. But whenever you have your own platform and you can provide your customers with end-to-end user experience, this is something when you can provide an extraordinary experience for your client. And more direct-to-consumer brands are actually putting a lot of effort into making it unique and making it just great experience.
Okay, so we are talking about like tailored items or tailored services, like for example, I don't know, eco products that are, you know, did in accordance with fair trade or something like that, that are targeted for a certain user base. This is what you mean? Or?
This also includes it, but for example, imagine a brand of clothes that you know the backstory of, that you know where the founder is coming from, what is the sourcing of the products, and you're just getting it being perfectly well branded and being delivered to you. So this is something that is more, because in Amazon you're just opening a package and branded Amazon and it's there. So there's a chance for many of the brands operating out there to be unique.
Okay, I think I can relate to this one because, and this will be funny for you.
Okay, go.
I'm buying soap from one Polish manufacturer.
Okay.
That does the whole experience. So, for example, they do have their own website that is branded in a certain way, that has a story to it, you know, and this is eco product, right? They're packaging this in a fully papered way, in a way that it's all, you know, how do you say that? Not reusable, but I'm looking for a word. Recyclable.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect.
So it's all recyclable. So I can relate to
Mm-hmm.
that because I remember when I was opening a package. This is why I'm bringing this up, because you said Amazon is like, okay, item is there. I opened the package and I was like, interesting, because it was not filled in with plastic. It was filled in with fragments of paper that were cut in smaller chunks. So even the smallest detail was like eco-friendly. So it was not wrapped in foil and plastic. It was also eco safe in a way that it was not damaged along the way. So I can relate to that.
Yeah, and it's just great customer experience, end to end.
Sure. And in the context of what you said, so it's hard to compete with Amazon and this let's say, user-orientated way of doing the products and providing the end-to-end service. What are the other ways that you are helping your customers on a daily basis?
So our collaboration usually starts from understanding what the challenge is. So we are usually working either with the customers who are just entering e-commerce space, so we are helping them to figure out the right technology, to figure out the right processes, to fully support what their flow is. But we also work with customers who already have got a store and they want to just scale up their business, scale up their operations, or they are growing so quickly that the processes that they have right now are just not sufficient anymore. So this is what we are doing together with our customers. And majority of that is, of course, deeply rooted in technology and providing our customers with modern solutions that are fully fitted to their needs. But I will also say that a huge chunk of our work is also focused on something that we touched upon, so customer experience. So taking a look at what is the look and feel of their store, what is the flow, and also to understand what we can do to make sure that their customers stay their customers, and to understand the data that is there in the store, and do everything that we can to create an end-to-end just great experience that is backed by technology.
Okay, so entertain me. What you can do? What you can do?
Awesome.
Because you've made me curious. What are the areas or things that e-commerce that is of a small scale? Because I don't think it matters what kind of scale you have. If you're competing against Amazon, you're always small scale, right? Or almost always.
Yeah.
What you can do to make it better, technology-wise, from perspective of what you do?
Sure. So the huge trend is definitely a modern front end. So trying to transform the stores that are usually out there into being fully responsive, into being fully expandable and fully scalable as well. So we talked about the expectations that are changing and e-commerce that is changing, and of course the expectations of the users, of the customers, are evolving. So being able to provide a seamless experience is the basis of what we are doing. So very often we are working with the clients to be able to transform their platforms into headless solutions. So trying to have got almost every single component very independent, but of course having this component connected between each other. And that means that whenever there is a change that needs to happen in the store, or whenever there is a change, for example, in business model, we can be very flexible in adapting that. For example, the customer wants to experiment with subscriptions, and we have got very easy ways to actually enabling the subscription-based businesses. Or there is another payment provider to connect. That's easy peasy. So this is what we are doing together with our customers. But also, and I would say this is like a layer down, trying to understand and support the operations. So entire fulfillment processes, the logistics that are underneath, and everything that is there for, let's call it an admin for the certain store, for the certain business.
Okay, so I think that's probably, at least it seems to me like this is the way to go nowadays, right? Because if you're competing against Amazon, if you have so many customers that have different expectations, that have already experienced this top-notch service from those major providers and so on, you need to be flexible. I would like to get back to the topic that you've mentioned about payments, right? So this is also growing. So just a few years ago, you could do the bank transfer, right? And that was
Yes.
that was it, right? Now you have Revolut payments, right? You have Blik in Poland. I don't know if this is even a thing in Germany, the thing like that. So putting a code and paying, but you have this, and you have the credit card, many other things that will most likely grow with time, taking into account how many similar services to Revolut are popping up on a market. Is that easy to set up, to build in a way that it is so flexible?
This should be the core of these solutions. So majority of the things that we are working with are API basis, so there should be very, very easy to connect. I would say where the challenge lies is in understanding how to do it the right way to support the processes of the store. So very often we are working with the marketplace platforms or multi-vendor platforms where the payment for the customer seems to be very easy because, for example, you are transferring the money for the certain company, but when it comes to the entire company, the payments needs to be separate and needs to go into the different places. And they are great tools to do that. We also have got our own set of tools to be able to support processes like that. And when it comes to payments, the place of origin, so the country of the business, plays a crucial role in understanding what we should provide our customers. Because of course, you've mentioned Blik. This is something very much popular in Poland. But in other countries, there are multiple other solutions. So a while back, we have been working with a client from Senegal, and this has been a really great collaboration. And it also taught us a lot about the way that Western African countries operate when it comes to logistics, when it comes to payments, and also when it comes to the experience that the customers are expecting. Payments, we're really interested to figure out, because it seems that when it comes to small amounts of money, mobile payments done through the mobile network are very popular, but whenever the amount of the transaction was bigger, it was usually cash. So trying to figure out how to handle cash the right way was also crucial.
So let me get this straight. In Senegal, if you are paying for an expensive item bought through e-commerce, you are paying with cash.
Yes.
So how it is even done? Like you are paying the delivery man, or?
So very often the payment needs to be made up front, so before you get an item, just to be able to process everything and to get you the item in a very safe way. So very often it happens that you are making the purchase online, and there is a courier visiting you, just collecting the money, and then you're giving the cash to the courier. They are bringing them to the facility, and
then it's being sent to you.
Yes.
Afterwards.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So this is very different from what we are
prepaid,
used to.
but with a cash.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's very different from what we are accustomed to. And when it comes to Europe, what is gaining in popularity right now, and same go for the US, is the growing number of payment providers that are supporting Afterpay. So you're making the purchase, and then you can either pay in installments, or your payment is actually delayed in time.
Yeah. So yeah, it keeps on appearing to me in various stores. I don't get the concept, but for me, it's terrifying that you can actually pay later than you buy an item. Like this is the other way around that it should be. But yeah, I can understand that there's a demand probably in the market. But going back to Senegal, because I'm very curious about it, where is this coming from? Is this a cultural thing, or is this a tax regulation thing, or this is the law about payments that has to do that when the amount is higher you cannot bypass it because of XYZ? For example, in Poland you cannot pay in cash certain amounts because of the VAT regulations. So what's the origin of that actually?
I would say a little bit of both or all. So definitely there is a cultural thing. This is changing very rapidly, but there was also very little trust into institutions. So people preferred to just keep cash, and we've experienced that in Poland as well.
Sure.
Not that long ago, I would say. But this is constantly changing. And in Africa, even a few years back, and it's still somehow popular, are mobile payments. So paying via a mobile network or QR codes. And well, we had the revolution, for example, in Poland, where we moved from cash to cards. And in Africa, they moved from cash to mobile payments, which was really, really great to observe.
Yeah. So yeah, I've heard that multiple times, that in African markets, some of the revolutions that were happening in Europe, some time ago, they are happening simultaneously. So they do have the mobile, at the same time the internet that is commonly available, and at the same time the some of the industrial innovations that we are used to, they are happening there a bit later than in Europe. So
that's true, but there are also many areas where Africa is accelerating right now, and it's like very challenging to talk about Africa as a whole, because every single country operates in different ways. So working with Senegal definitely taught us a lot about Senegalese customers, about the culture of Western Africa that was very much influenced by colonialism and France, because it was under the influence of France as well.
So how about this is Africa? How about the other parts of the world that I know you guys are also present in and have some experiences?
Yes. So I can start from telling you a little bit more about Asia. So this is not a market where we actively operate in e-commerce. We have got clients from Asia for different kind of our services, but Asia is very interesting to observe when it comes to e-commerce, because things are just like accelerating there so quickly, and there are so many great things happening, so many terrifying things as well, I would say. But when it comes to the evolution of technology, Asia is the place to take a look at. We have got super apps there. So super app is a concept of an application that has almost everything in it. So the social platform, the communication channel, the payment provider, the platforms where you can shop, everything. So this is an interesting concept, a concept that Western, especially American and European companies can learn a lot from. And we are seeing this change happening with Facebook growing and the services they are providing. But still, they are a few years back from, for example, WeChat, that is extremely popular in China.
Okay. And in the field of let's say e-commerce, are there any interesting venues or things to look at in Asia that we might either learn from or that are maybe to some extent different?
Mm-hmm. So there's a trend happening in Asia on a massive scale, which is the shopping that is made through videos. So like you have got companies that are streaming and the customers can, during the stream, shop the items that they're there. So this is called social shopping. So basically on every single platform you're seeing multiple streams from different brands showing the products, telling you more about it, and just broadcasting what is there, actually encouraging customers to buy.
And selling live.
And selling live, yes.
So it's like in 90s on a TV.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
So you were calling the studio and telling them that you want the thing to work out on your stomach, right? There was like those abgymnic things that you were buying, to work on your muscles, or vacuum cleaners.
That's
and so
true.
on and so forth. Okay.
Yes.
So it's the same concept but happening on the live stream.
Yes, and
Super
it's
interesting.
multiplied by millions, and
Scale.
the scale, yes. And because of the rapid connection, it's also very interactive. So the person who is streaming can reply to the comments, can actually react to what the customers are saying. For example, like the comment, can you show me this dress but in red? So they can do it almost at the time when they are seeing the comment. So
Super interesting.
Yes, it is growing in popularity. This is a huge channel for the brands to advertise, to do their marketing. And of course, this is something that the customers are right now accustomed for.
Do you think that this will be more present in Europe?
This is becoming more present in Europe. There are multiple brands doing that, especially the brands who are very keen on making the experiments. And in Poland, not that long ago, IKEA did very same thing. So they actually did the streaming. Yes, when they
were saying what, like a wardrobe, or?
I actually didn't watch the stream. I just saw the ads for that. So I don't know what was there, but this is the concept that they wanted to give a try.
That's super interesting. But if, I can imagine that if this was popular back in 90s, when, the TV was like a number one medium in the average household, then right now with internet, I can imagine people going to stream and buying their vacuum cleaner. Why not?
Sure. Especially that the video is driving content
Sure.
of the internet. This is why we are having this conversation recorded
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah, sure. We're definitely on
Yes.
on a wave, right?
Yes.
Let's hope for that. But this is actually interesting because I think I would participate. Because either every time that I'm looking for a certain item that is, let's say, electronics, I'm usually watching the reviews, right?
Yes.
I'm reading the reviews that are written on the e-commerces, and I'm doing my research. I'm not making a choice based on the fact that there is a promo for 100 zlotys or 100 euros, whatever. Like, I'm doing my diligence before actually making a choice. So if someone would do that for me in a format of 1 hour, comparing 5 vacuum cleaners, and I don't know why I'm stuck on the vacuum cleaners today, but let's say that I'm doing a lot of vacuuming, then I would probably, appreciate that, and I would consider at least to make a purchase on that stream from that person, because if he or she done enough to put it all together in one presentation, it's like having a salesman at your door that represents multiple brands.
Yes.
And hopefully is independent to an extent. That would be awesome.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, something. Yeah, maybe we can consider that, for software development,
Like the social selling of software development.
Yes, exactly. I don't know how yet, but that's to be figured out probably. Okay, but we are now back in Europe, let's say, at least with the transferring this concept from Asia to Europe. So, what are the other aspects that in a country that you are most present in, like Germany, that has this Amazon, as a major provider, as maybe not monopoly, but at least a significant, that has a significant presence there. How else you can help customer to convert, to do more, to serve better, you know, to help the end users nowadays? What are the other aspects that one may take into consideration?
So I would say having a business model well thought through and also being able to experiment. This is something that brings the companies from average to awesome. Many of our users are currently experimenting with subscription services. This is also a response to what Amazon is providing. And when it comes to subscriptions, this is working really great for fast-moving consumer goods. This is working very well for every single recurring purchases. For example, imagine you have a pet. Do you have a pet at home?
Yeah, I have a dog.
So dog, yeah. So whenever there is a store that you can buy the dog food being delivered to you like every single month, so you don't have to actually think about it. This is something that a lot of companies are actively working on. So being kind of faster than the customers and providing them with commodity, with the just safe mind. So you don't have to worry about your purchase because this is something that is on our list that we will send every single month to you. So the subscription models are gaining in popularity, and whenever there is a company who can actually implement that, this is something that they are doing.
Okay, so the subscription model is one thing. How about the e-commerce, the experience of an average e-commerce user? I know that right now I think around 50% of whole transactions are happening on mobile, right? So
or even more, yeah.
So it's a lot. What brands can do in order to improve? I've heard that the augmented reality, for example, is a huge thing nowadays.
That's true. This is from the bucket of still experimenting and innovating. But sure, we are seeing augmented reality being very present in fashion industry because of the fact that you can actually visualize the item that you're either buying or selling, and for example, enabling the customers to try it on, quote unquote. So there's a concept of digital fashion. So this is a concept that is providing us as the consumers with an ability to buy or just try the clothes on you. So being able to scan yourself or like point the camera to you and have the virtual clothes just put on you. Huge entertainment purposes. But for example, high-end brands like Gucci also did experiments with selling their clothes just to be present in virtual space.
Okay, so the concept here is to sell me a suit that I can only wear digitally.
That's true.
That seems hilarious. But I can imagine people are actually doing that, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and probably you can even take a picture and post it on your social media account.
That's true.
So it looks like I have my Gucci suit, but I've bought it cheaper and it's only virtual. Like no one knows.
$9.
But no one knows. This is actually a very good deal.
That's true.
Okay.
But coming back to AR in e-commerce, an ability to visualize the item and show the customer what the item would look like in real life, just by putting it somewhere in the space as a virtual object, is a huge thing. So I've mentioned IKEA a while back, and this is something that IKEA is doing as well. And they were actually one of the first because they launched it a few years back when you have an application, when you can scan your room, the room is being measured. So we have got more or less life size.
The space, yeah.
And you can, for example, put your sofa in there to be able to see if it fits, if it looks good, if the color is right, or if the size is right. So great concept.
Yeah, that's a great concept, and I can imagine that with households, with home appliances, this is great because you can actually at least have this touch of how this would look like. But do you think this can work with clothes? Like, I can imagine that putting a live model on myself of a jacket that I can see in a shop is somehow, I don't know, fake, not accurate, right? Because the measurements can be different, right? Like I can only see if this will be more black or less black, light blue or dark blue, but can I see how this will look on me in an AR in a proper way?
Not perfectly, but you are seeing a visualization that very often is enough to make a decision whether the item is good for you or not. So this is one, but the second driving factor why the companies are experimenting that much with AR is to provide the customers with some sort of entertainment. So this is just fun to browse it, and this is a marketing purpose as well.
Okay, so this is AR. Are there any other innovative, let's say, tools, areas, concepts that are now trending that I haven't heard of? Maybe.
I'm wondering, and maybe a good topic to spend a little time on is the concept of very fast groceries delivery and how the pandemic actually influenced that. So it happened that, especially in the early months of the pandemic, there were huge lines to the grocery stores. It was just very hard. Yeah, it was just very hard even to order online groceries in the services that were operating previous to the pandemic times because of the huge volume of orders. So there were also a lot of things that changed in the space of fast-moving consumer goods. And the concept that is gaining in popularity, especially during the last year and a half, is the concept of dark stores. And the entire chain of delivery, especially in urban areas that are very much connected into having the warehouses where the food is stored, but not being able to enter the customers there, not having a beautiful storefront, but rather relying on the network of couriers that are delivering the food for you. So, for example, in Germany, there is a very promising startup that actually got a lot of investment earlier this year. It is called Gorillas. And the way they operate is they are entering their website, you can buy the food and you have your food delivered within a few hours straight to your doorstep. And actually there's a very same company operating in Poland that also got investment recently. So the VCs are also seeing that. This is called Joker in Poland, where the concept is exactly the same, that you have got multiple dark stores and the couriers that are just delivering the groceries to you.
Okay, I haven't heard about the concept. That's new for me, and yeah, I can imagine that there can be a huge market for it. The question is whether this is profitable or not, because I remember that not so long ago we've had Tesco doing the delivery. And I was using those I was ordering those groceries pretty often, but they've withdrawn from the concept. They've cancelled that possibility. I can imagine that this was probably economy driven, right? But maybe this was not the type of let's say business that they could go into because of, I don't know, logistics or anything else. Because in those dark stores that you've mentioned, the couriers are employed by the Gorilla, for example, or these are the independent drivers like Uber people or something like that?
So when it comes to Gorillas, they are employed in there. But the models are very different. The models can change, let's call it this way. But the concept is there, and it's gaining on popularity with the customers.
Okay, great. So we've covered augmented reality, we've covered dark stores. We've covered some of the Asia, some of the Africa and Western Europe. Do you think that we are going to see further changes down the road in e-commerce? Do you think that the current economy and the situation with pandemic will make stores even more innovative in the near future?
Definitely, because the expectations of the customers are growing and the opportunities for businesses are growing as well. However, what we need to be very much aware of, especially as the creators, is the fact that we need to think about the future and we need to think about sustainability. So the growing revenue is one, but we have got just one planet that we are living at.
Yes.
We have got responsibility for the next generations, and we also need to be very careful on what we are deciding to do. So having the conversation about AR and everything that is going on there is very promising, and it's very good to have. And opening up possibilities for the stores to operate is also very important. But I would also like to encourage everyone in e-commerce space to think about the consequences of the decisions. So just to, be responsible for what is next to come.
And be aware, because we are all responsible at the end of the day. But that might be just a topic. That might be just a topic for one of the future episodes. I would be more than happy to cover this in a more broad way.
Definitely.
Sustainability, responsibility, of
Yes, especially taking into consideration that we do not see, we do not see the technology that is underneath, and we do not actually see a direct impact of what technology does to the world. So this is a promising topic to cover.
Awesome. It was a very, very good conversation. Okay, Kasia, do you have any recommendations or last things that you would like to tell us? What we should look for in the e-commerce, what are the areas worth considering if you are an e-commerce owner, for example? Anything that we have not talked about yet, but you would like to share?
Sure. So many topics that we didn't have time to talk about, but I would just share that as an e-commerce, the founders and the people who are responsible for the e-commerces need to be very careful and need to be very observant on what is going in the world, because the pace of changes is very fast, and the decisions that need to be made in a very fast manner. So the companies, for example, like Upside, are helping to make those decisions in an informative way. So I would just encourage to find a good partner who is capable of helping.
Yeah, it's all about the network. It's all about sharing the knowledge. So
yes.
So thank you for being here today, and thank you for sharing
for having
your
me
knowledge.
on this couch.
Let's hope that we will have more occasions to do
Awesome.
more episodes. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. That was another episode, another topic. If you like what you are seeing at Score Couch, hit subscribe, comment, hit the thumb up, and let us know what would you like to see in the upcoming episodes. Thanks for watching once again, and see you soon.